Thank you so much for pulling out some time from your busy schedule, sir.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So, my name is Mathew K Thomas, and I'm the founder of the All India Educators Forum. So, we have started this with just 5 members, but now today we have crossed about 1 lakh members. And we are basically into teacher training, and we help teachers in providing resource material, training, and basically helping the teachers to make the classroom a better place.
Of
So, and
course.
we are a UNSDG4 organization. So, our presence is there in about 21 states of India at the moment,
Wow,
and also in the Middle East, and wherever there are CBSE schools, basically.
I get it. So, to start, like the NEP 2020 has brought in many progressive reforms, in your view. Which aspect of NEP, like according to you, in your accordance, which aspect of NEP has the potential to most positively transform classrooms in India?
Yeah, I think one of the major changes the NEP is going to bring about is on the foundational learning, FLN, foundational literacy and numeracy. So, over a period of years, what we've noticed in the past national education policies was that the government was only concentrating on the 10th and the 12th board. So, what happened at the foundational stages were immaterial. So, therefore, over a period of time, it was found out that our reading skills, writing skills, calculation, arithmetic was actually deteriorating. And now, if you see, the first 5 years, the foundational years, have been given the most prominence in the national education policy. Very rightly so, because the foundation of a child is in the initial stages. So before class one itself, there are 3 years, pre-nursery, nursery, KG, which is called Anganwadis and Balvatikas, which will make the foundation of the children very strong. So right now, you must have heard about newspaper reports saying that a child is in class 3 but doesn't know how to read.
Hmm.
So, with the national education policy, the most important thing is that the first 5 years, the foundation is given emphasis, and the foundation is the most important aspect of any individual. And by the time the student is coming to 9th, 10th now, it becomes too late to rectify all those issues which should have been rectified at that stage. So, I think the crux of the NEP is that, and of course, the divisions they have done to the 6, 7, 8, and then 9 to 12 in one category. These are all important. For
Right.
me, the most important is the foundational stage.
Absolutely. So, how do you think schools and teachers can ensure a smooth transition from traditional rote learning to the competency-based approach recommended in NEP?
So the most important thing is, when we go to our old Gurukul system, it
Hmm.
was like the experiential learning. Children, more than learning from textbooks, there was a guru, who used to impart knowledge based on his experience and expertise.
Right.
And the learning used to take place from nature. And I think we are going back to our roots and bringing that, and experiential learning is forming the crux of learning. So it is no longer rote memorization. You are learning up some definition, and then you are going for the exam and writing those and getting marks. But now what is happening is the child is actually doing things with the hands, experiencing things, and to get a better grasp and understanding of the concepts. So unless the conceptual understanding is there, the child was never able to understand many of the concepts that were introduced in the middle school. So experiential learning is a big thing that has come in. And as you said, competency-based questions, no longer questions directly lifted from a passage. You are memorizing that, but if the child
Right.
is understood, then the child will be able to answer those questions.
And that's what they have termed as hands-on learning, every,
Correct.
right.
Yes.
Mhm. So NEP emphasizes foundational literacy and numeracy. What are some practical steps schools can be adding in their curriculum in order to strengthen this at the grassroots level?
Yeah, so the most important thing is teacher training. Unfortunately, in a country like ours, where we have a vast population and the regions are totally different, so you will see that the standard of both educators and the children are very different if you go to the interiors of India, where children have to walk for 10 to 20 kilometers to reach a school. And
Right.
similarly, the qualification, experience, and expertise of educators are also different in different parts of India. So the main challenge of NEP in the is the draft and the policy is very good, but the actual implementation has a lot of challenges. So the most important thing is getting the teachers trained. So how
Hmm.
do you get trained teachers in a rural area? That's a big question mark because it's just like doctors. Nobody, if in the cities you will still get because the payments are slightly better in the
Hmm.
cities. But if you go to rural areas, teachers, the status of a teacher vis-a-vis the other professions is very very low, and the educators are working at very very meager salaries of 10,000, 15,000 across different parts of India, which is very sad because then you will not get trained people. So the
True.
training is the most important part for effective implementation of any policy. And without proper training, our NEP will not be able to do justice to all that is written in the document. So I think the most important is teacher training, and because the teachers themselves have to understand how to go about all these
Exactly.
things. Otherwise, what is going to happen is that in different parts of India, you will find that different people are doing different things.
Hmm.
So in spirit, it is very good, but implementation is going to pose a real challenge considering the vast population and the differences that exist in a country like India.
Right, absolutely. I second you on that. So the idea of a holistic progress card goes beyond marks and grades sometimes. So could you explain how it truly reflects a child's voyage of learning, a child's learning journey?
Yeah, again, the holistic report card is something very beautiful that the NEP is suggesting because right now we are looking only at marks. We
Mm,
were traditionally a marks-oriented society.
absolutely.
If suppose somebody is getting 90%, then he is considered better than 70%. But we were not looking at the skill of this person, how people skills,
True.
personality, the character, the qualities, the virtues, these are all absent from the present report card. So what's the holistic progress card is bringing about all these aspects, which is very beautiful because you don't know the leadership skills of a person. A person may be getting 95%, but he may not have people skills. So you are recruiting him for an organization, he may not be a good leader, or he will not be able to collaborate with the team, or he has poor communication skills. So in the holistic progress card, it is not only about marks. There are so many skills involved. So there is a peer assessment. How do you
Right.
work as a team? There is a teacher assessment, there is a parent assessment, there is a
Mhm.
self assessment. So it's a 360-degree report card, which makes the report card very meaningful. And it's not something which is being observed just because of one board exam. It is a
Absolutely.
continuous and comprehensive evaluation over a period of time. And from different parameters, the child is getting assessed based on the skills, qualities, and virtues of the person. So when you look at the whole document, the whole aura or the whole personality or the virtues and qualities of the person will come out beyond the marks. So right now the drawback is we are looking at the person only in terms of marks,
True.
statistically only in terms of the quantity, but the
Right.
quality of the person is not coming out. And therefore, in terms when you are applying for colleges or even for organizations, the marks have very low significance as compared to the overall, the changing dynamics of the world, where, companies like Google and Facebook are no longer even looking at your degrees. They're looking at the skills that the person
Actually,
possesses. So I know many students who are actually only in class 12 and they're working for Google because they have the skills and expertise that they're looking for. And probably a person with a degree in engineering, BTech or MTech, may not have the
it's
same
just not
skill
enough.
of that class 12 student. So it's
True.
all about developing your skills. And
Right.
with anytime, anywhere learning now, with so many open resources like YouTube and so many other things,
Right.
children are learning so many things. And that's the beauty of today's world. The world has become such a small place, and no costing is no longer a barrier to learn
Right.
things. So if the child is interested, they can learn, and even if teachers are interested, they can learn. So it's something which is very exciting. I think we are living in exciting times, and we are very positive about the outcome of the NEP.
It's more like not only what you know, it's like what you are, who you are, how have learning procreated you from yourself. Absolutely. I second you on that.
Absolutely, yes.
Right.
So
So,
there is a beautiful thing that says that, never invest your money for something, invest in
right,
yourself. So when
true,
you are investing in yourself, then only you become a better person, and you are able to. So the whole NEP focuses on skill development. So right
right,
now what we see is that many engineers who are not able to fix a simple fuse. They have a BTech degree, but they have to call an electrician to fix the fuse of their
right,
house. So this is what has to change. Our education system is not practical oriented. So the
exactly.
holistic progress card is bringing about all these aspects of the child into the report card.
Nevertheless, wow, that was so wonderfully orchestrated. So, how do you think, sir, parents can adapt to reading and understanding progress reports that highlight skills, whatever you just said, creativity, values alongside academics? So, they should adapt. They should, like, change is constant, and this is the new change. Holistic progress would be the name. So, how should they adapt themselves to understanding the new progress report?
Yeah, so I think the parents have a very big role in today's
Hmm,
times, especially when children are distracted.
right,
So 10 years, 20 years back, when we compare the children of that time, distractions were very less. Now with social media coming in, although it is such a plus point in terms of the amount of knowledge that the child has today, vis-a-vis the knowledge which the student had access 20 years back, but there are also distractions. So
right.
you imagine that the parent has subscribed to a particular module, online module,
Hmm,
and all the videos are being watched through these online sessions that are being conducted. In between, the child from studying is going to things which he is not supposed to. Probably is into gaming, or probably he's watching reels. So these are the things which are distracted to academics. So as a parent, I think now you have to monitor your children, and now the kind of relationship that you have with your children is very different. Earlier, parents used to be strict, and the children had to listen to the parents. But
right,
now, no, we are not able to enforce things. Whether you are a teacher or a parent, you are just a facilitator. So you
right.
need to understand your child, see what are the behavioral changes that is happening in your child, and accompany them and be there for them at all times whenever they require your help. So that is why in the holistic progress card, there is a beautiful column which is parent assessment. The parent
Mm,
was never involved in the assessment of the child. Now we have parent assessment. Is your child interested in studies? Is your child having some career goals? Does your child love to go to school? Is he having a good rapport with the teachers? So the parent is able to assess all this from their perspective. And the main thing about today's parents is time. Mostly parents don't have time, and then they give some money and say, okay, you go and enjoy with your friends. So they try
mm,
to cover up all these lack of time with money, with
absolutely.
monetary or with other, gifts. But what is important is the parent give time. When we were children, we used to have story time with our parents. You used to sit down together, have food together. Now everyone
Right.
is in a different world
So
altogether.
busy.
Whoever comes at whatever time is having food. There is no family time as such because of the digital distractions that are there,
Intrusion.
and because of other. So yes, absolutely. So what is important for us is to get back to our old core values of the family, where everyone is available for each other, and especially for their academics till they're 18 or 21. The parent has to accompany the child. Cannot say that, okay, you do your studies, I'm paying your fees. That's my role. It's no
Right.
longer that. So the parent has to be there as a facilitator, as someone who is always there for the child. They may not be able to directly guide the students in terms of the academics, but what is important is the accompaniment. I am there for you if you want something.
Exactly.
And then only the child is able to share things, share the difficulties, and then, the child is able to progress as per the a vision that is created by the family. Otherwise, earlier, the a parent is a doctor, they will blindly say, "Oh, you also have to be a doctor,"
Mm,
without taking any career counseling or aptitude of the child. But now with so much psychometric testing and aptitude testing and so much of professions that have opened up,
correct.
so it is important to understand what is the psychology of the child through
Right.
psychometric testing, through aptitude testing, so that the child is able to choose a career in which he or she excels. It is not that 10 years down the line, the child says that, okay, see, I took this profession because my father or mother forced me, and
Right.
then they no longer enjoy that.
So it's more like your parent is your first teacher because education comes from home first. We are just those
Absolutely.
gardeners. We prune them right, nevertheless. So, sir, in your opinion, again, how will this approach, this new approach, whatever we just had to talk upon, impact students' self esteem, their self respect, and their motivation compared to the traditional mark sheet system?
Yeah, so the you will be surprised that there are certain elements of the NEP, like art integration, for example.
Hmm,
Like art integration is something very beautiful where a project can be made through different means. It could be a role play, it could be clay modeling, it could be painting, it could be
yeah,
dramatic singing. So you find that there are so many projects which are so innovative now as compared to the previous projects, because
true,
earlier it
true.
was only copying from somewhere or getting it made from somewhere. Now, depending on the talent of the child is able to project it in a much better way.
There was no
So,
inclusion. There was no inclusion
absolutely.
initially.
So if you are an artist or if you're good in singing, always there was this that okay, this is secondary. It is not, it
Hmm,
is extracurricular. What is beautiful about the NEP is that there is nothing called extracurricular. It is part of the curriculum. So if
correct.
you're good in painting or singing or clay modeling or dramatics, these are all given equal weightage in terms of the credit system, the national credit system. So what is happening is that you can have a combination of subjects like maths and music, which was not possible earlier.
Well,
So this is something very nice about this. So it gives a lot of self-esteem to the student, because now they know that okay, I am not good at this, but I am good at painting or singing or music or sports, and they get equal credibility for that.
right.
Otherwise, you were always playing or singing. They were actually not respected as such. Only
Absolutely.
the people who are science students, there was a traditional outlook among the society in the society that okay, you are a humanities student. That means you didn't get science or commerce, which
True.
is so untrue, because the humanities also there is so much scope, and that also requires a lot of studies. But the image that was created was like that. So
Absolutely.
fortunately, with this system, I think things will change for the better, and people who are interested in all the so-called extracurricular
Right.
becoming part of the mainstream is going to help these students to shine, and they become more confident individuals.
Like the test paper is not like testing a fish's skill, by asking the fish to climb a tree, isn't it? Absolutely. The point that you just
Absolutely.
added about,
Yes.
merging music with maths. Wow, that was, nevertheless, this is
Hmm.
broadening their opportunity to add knowledge and confidence together. They need some sort of encouragement, some sort of applause that helps them build themselves. True, true. So, sir, time management is a challenge. Nevertheless, it has always been the truth, not just for students, but also for teachers. So, what strategies would you suggest for balancing curriculum delivery with meaningful learning system, meaningful learning experiences?
I think the most important aspect of time management is consistency, because
Hmm,
most of our students is they have this tendency to study at the last minute. Exams are coming, so
right,
I'm going to study, and then they try to put in 10 hours and 12 hours, and their whole body breaks up, or there is mental tension, stress is created, because of which they are not able to fully concentrate on their academics, and there is some problem at some level. So what
right.
is important, like it's for example, when we see like we throw a bucket of water on a rock, nothing will happen.
Hmm,
But if you have a drop of water trickling every day on the rock, ultimately over a period of time, the rock will break.
it
So
will
that is
erode.
the power of consistency. So always I tell my students that if you want to acquire good marks, it is not about working 10 hours or 12 hours for 10 days. It is
Right.
about spending 1 hour daily for the next 1 year, so that you acquire those skills. So study is a habit. Sitting down and reading is a habit.
Reading.
So yeah, reading. So nowadays, what is happening? Reading is not taking place at all. Writing
It's
is not happening at all.
evaporating. True.
Yes. So because of the the auto spell, which is the digital, and because of Meta and the Chat GPT, children are not writing. Otherwise, the writing skills, we used to think what has to be written, and we could write an answer by thinking about it. Now they want ready-made answer. They're not ready to think. You write a letter to the editor saying that there is a drainage problem outside your house, or they will not write. They will, as
Right.
an assign, if it is an assignment, they will go to Chat GPT and ask that.
Instant
And
gratification.
yes, and there is so many spelling mistakes if they try to learn on their own. When we
Exactly.
were small, we used to have spelling tests, which was
Spelling
very
dictation.
important. Now the spellings are taken a back seat. It's all slang language and short forms. So what is happening is that there is a lot of deterioration. And where are the children spending time? It's basically on digital media, or on gaming, or watching these useless stuff, or TV or Netflix. All these are very addictive. And then what happens is that real value is not there. So the most important mantra of time management is there has to be a focus. And once there is a mindset to do something, then you have to develop your skill set. So mindset, skill set, and then the ability to take action. So many of us want to do a lot of things, but then they always delay it, saying that
Procrastinate.
I will do it tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes.
Right.
So once you have a mindset, you develop your skill set, you give time for those skills, and then obviously you have to put it into action. That is why, in the olden times, our parents or principals used to say that make a timetable. So
Right.
write down a timetable, stick it in your study table. Okay, this is what it is. Now you will hardly find children having any timetable. The parents think that sending them to a tuition class is more than enough. So they go to some tuition classes, sit down for 3 4 hours, where self-learning doesn't happen. So it's all about self-learning, about being creative yourself, racking your brains. Actually, most of the brains are getting rusted because AI is slowly replacing our thinking capacities.
We should learn to use AI in the right manner. It is not us.
Absolutely.
It is just a
Yes.
help. You are
Absolutely.
you are replacing yourself with AI. That's where we are
Very well
wrong.
said. So what is happening is that, as you rightly said, many people are trying to substitute AI with your thinking.
Right.
It's not substituting. We are actually supplementing it. We need to
Rather
supplement it.
so.
So it is not that you have switched off your brains and given AI full control. So as
Exactly.
you very rightly said, we need to supplement the knowledge of the technology and the AI into whatever we already know, or we want a desired result, not get fully dependent on it and become a slave of that.
Right, absolutely. Slavery would be the right word. We have submitted ourselves to it, right? True. Like one of the examples that you just we just strode off together, that is, schools would help or align children with timetables. So, what other in what other like how uh, how other I mean, which would be the other ways in which schools can guide students in building lifelong skills of time management without making it feel like without making it feel burdensome? So one of the option would be drafting a timetable for yourself and adhering, like committing yourself to its adherence. What can be few other tips that you can help the schools to guide itself with?
I think schools play a very major role in shaping the
Absolutely.
character of a person. So
Right.
whenever you see a student who is very well behaved or does something very meticulously, the first question normally that you ask, which school are you from?
Right.
Because that school is, whether you know it or not, it becomes part of your system. So
You become
however bad or good you
right.
are,
You become the signature of the school, and the school becomes the signature of yours.
absolutely. So
Vice
you know
versa.
that, okay, these students from these schools have this personality.
Hmm.
If not, to certain extent. So okay, you're from this school. Okay, that's why this is. So
Yeah.
you're punctual, you're disciplined. Okay, you know how to
Correct.
talk to people. So that happens. So that means the school has a very, very big role, knowingly or unknowingly, in shaping our personality. So when we look at schools, one of the most important aspects of schools is like we develop the concept of punctuality. You need to be punctual to the classes. If there is a prayer at 7:30, you need to be there. If there
Reach
is
on
an art
time.
class at, yeah, reaching on time. So unknowingly you are building up that. Then obviously there are other so many skills that are being given in the schools, physical education, yoga, art, and then listening skills, which is very
Right.
poor in today's
Yes.
times. Today's children are not able to communicate because they don't know what to speak. So earlier, when we used to have family gatherings, we used to have our uncle, aunties, or old, we used to freely talk or at least listen. Now,
Correct.
children are not interested in sitting in these family gatherings because why should I listen to these old people, all boring stuff? So they are not able to connect.
True.
So I think in our schools, what is important is to develop the overall holistic development of the child, where
Right.
the child is able to listen, the child is able to participate, punctuality, honesty, all these virtues that you develop. So sometimes, you read in the newspaper about small kids committing grievous crimes. And the
Hmm.
first thing which crosses our mind is that our education system has failed. Which
Right.
school were these students in? And you feel sad because so many children are going through your hands. And if suppose one of your student has committed some grave mistake,
I understand.
we feel that it is a failure from our side that we have failed. So I think the schools have a very very important role in ethics, integrity, tolerating other people, secularism. All these values we learn in our schools. So it's a place where it's a second home. After
Absolutely.
house, I think you are spending the maximum time in your school. So directly or indirectly, it becomes part of your system, and all the time management, all your virtues that you get is actually from your school.
Absolutely. They must commit to the literature chapters. Half of the lesson is from the you're getting half of the skill enhanced from the chapters only. More of the morality, more of the empathy, more of the values. Where do you get it from? From the juice of the chapters. Read them not because you have to write the right answer, but because you have to
Absolutely.
live the right life. True. Absolutely.
Very true.
So, moving a little off track, let's start talking on assessments. So, with assessments moving towards application and competency based models, how should teachers redesign classroom tests and exams?
So, the making of a question paper itself is an art. So, in many schools, just to keep up the standard of the schools, I have felt that the teachers are giving questions to not to test what the child knows, but
Hmm.
what the child does not know.
Right,
So, there is a difference in making a paper in testing what the child knows and what the child does not know, right? So, if you are hell bent on proving that the child doesn't know anything because of your so-called elitism, then what happens? Okay, we are this school, we have to set this standard paper. So this is something which is not acceptable in today's society, because the board, if you see the board papers, which is based on the Bloom's taxonomy,
hmm.
so that is our base. The Bloom's taxonomy is based on parameters like knowledge, understanding, application, skill. So it is not that a weak student will not be able to attempt any questions of the question paper. So even if it is a competency-based paper, there is a particular set of questions based on knowledge,
Right,
understanding. If the child is able to understand certain things, the child should be able. So 40 to 50% of the paper should be, an average child should be able to attempt and get it correct.
true.
Of course, there will be higher order thinking skills and competency-based questions to, so that there is a distinction between the very brilliant students and the others.
Hmm.
So we have no objection to that. And in many schools, what happens is that the blueprint, one of the schools I had gone for a session and I was asking them, do you make a blueprint? So they said, what is a blueprint? So some of
Oh my
them
God.
are not even aware of a basic fact that before a question paper, a blueprint has to be made. So how many, short answer type question, how many fill in the blanks, how many long answer type, case based, assertion based. So there has to be a variety of questions to test the child. So it is not that it's the question paper is not in an attacking mode,
Right.
and to demean the child.
And you have the sample question paper in cbse.nic.in. So let's take that as the structure, the skeletal
Absolutely.
model, nonetheless. So, what role
Yes.
does formative assessment play in helping a teacher truly understand a child's learning needs?
Yeah, so that is one of the another beautiful thing which has been introduced by the CBSE is the
Hmm.
formative assessments. So formative assessments also, they have said that it need not necessarily be a pen paper test.
Mm-hmm.
So formative assessment, they have also introduced something called multiple assessments. Now
Right.
multiple assessments is very nice because it could be a verbal test, it could be a quiz, it could be a debate, it could be a project. So what happens is multiple assessment gives the child an opportunity to express what he believes is right or whatever his opinion in a different manner, not in writing form but verbally, because some children, if you tell them to write, they may not write, but they will speak very well.
Right.
So, there are different types of learners that exist, visual learners and auditory learners. So, we are giving a chance to all these people to excel in this multiple assessment. Then we have subject enrichment tests, which is also part of the formative test. Subject enrichment is your art integration, your projects. So, you are doing research on different topics and presenting it in a different way. The pen paper test is only 5 marks out of the 20. If you look at the internal assessments, the pen paper test is being given only 5 marks,
Yeah.
whereas the other 15 marks, the board has given you the flexibility and liberty to assess the child in different creative ways so that the knowledge of the child comes out. So I think that
Right.
is also very beautiful. And in the coming years, with the NEP getting fully implemented, the formative assessments weightage is going to definitely increase. If you
Okay.
look at look at the master plan,
Mm-hmm.
from right now, we see that in ninth and 10th, it is 80-20. The proposal is that when the whole NEP goes up to 12,
Mm.
when the 9 to 12 fully is getting implemented, we are going to get the formative assessments to up to 50% in 9th,
Okay.
10th,
Wow.
and 70-30, which is the existing in 11th and 12th. So, they know the importance of the formative assessments, which is actually the true assessment because that is happening more often
Mm.
and it gives you a more realistic picture of the student rather than that one exam which happens at the end of the year.
Of their understanding, like this content is taught, how far have they gotten it inside themselves? Absolutely.
Correct.
So marks become somehow important. Some parents worry about reduced focus on marks. So how can schools reassure them that these new methods are more effective in measuring learning actually?
Yeah, so one of the very important things about the NEP and the whole college structure now is that, see, most of the colleges are now not taking the students based on their marks. So there is an
True.
entrance exam. So even if you look at the Delhi University exams, there is a CUET exam. So irrespective of whether you got a 99% or an 80%, you are in the same boat when you give the
True.
CUET exam.
Hmm.
Same with the IITs or medicals or any law exam. The entire structure of the Indian university system is based on the entrance. So in the entrance, what happens is that now the focus of getting a 98 or 99 has reduced. It's more on how the child has, assimilated what he has learned in the school, 11th and 12th stages, or probably 9th and 10th also. So that is very important. So now the parent need not worry that my child is not getting 99%. Oh, he
Hmm.
should have got 99.2. It
Right.
doesn't matter because that 99 and 90 all are giving the same entrance. So
Absolutely.
probably the person who is, scoring a very good IIT rank may be having only 80% and the 99% has not cracked an entrance exam. So this is the harsh reality
True.
of life. So
True.
ultimately, we are all studying for getting admission into a
Right.
university.
Absolutely true. They have moved to a different realm of accepting this, that at the end of the day, you have to get yourself promoted by this realm, that you are in a good university, you are in a good college.
Yes.
True. True. So, experiential learning has become a buzzword in education. Moving a little off track again. So, could you share some simple tips, some low cost examples schools
Yeah.
can implement even without advanced infrastructure?
So actually, we are taught all this in the B.Ed colleges, but
Mm,
unfortunately,
right.
as the teachers carry on over a period of time, they forget all the teaching aids. First
Absolutely.
of all, you're the best teaching aid is yourself. You yourself as the best teaching aid. And
Exactly.
then what happens when you go to the classroom and whether you've taught for 1 year or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, you should actually get better. You are not the same person as you were 20 years back.
You
So
are
some
the
teachers,
content.
you
You
are
are
the
the
content,
content.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, what is important is that the teacher has to evolve. So,
True.
whatever course comes, whatever is the changes that is happening around you, you cannot get stuck to a time period of 10
Nevertheless,
years or 20 years. You need to evolve. So some people will say, sir, aren't you bored that every year you teach the same content? We are not teaching the same content. We are
exactly.
evolving. Every batch is different and we are presenting it in a different way, because when we are presenting something this year, we get a better idea. We read something
You
better.
know, that is what the chapter remains the same, but the way of teaching, absolutely, this evolves,
Yes. And
nevertheless.
that's the beauty of this teaching, that we are
True.
not, the content is same as you said, but the way of teaching, the presentation always changes. Now we are using
Exactly.
the smart boards, or
Mm,
as you said, even if it is low tech, even simple chart papers, allowing the child to explore. There are
right.
many organizations like Isha Foundation, and and there are other organizations which makes very, very low cost devices, so that children are able to learn, simple mathematics,
Yeah,
read basic words. So all this is very much possible, provided the teachers are willing to do all that in the classroom.
exactly. So, how can teachers in traditional classroom setups, integrate hands-on learning without compromising syllabus coverage? I mean, just lining up off from where you just ended.
So I think even the NCRT, if you see,
Hmm.
when we start teaching certain things,
Yeah,
especially in class 9 and 10, we have so many practical activities, but we never show that in the class, because we think that lab activities is only in class 11 and 12.
exactly.
You are talking about momentum or rainbow, or everything. This is all experience in nature. So suppose when we are talking about laws of motion or anything in mathematics, we have never demonstrated all this in a field,
Right,
right? So demonstration is important. So if there is an activity, okay, I'm going to burn calcium in fire, and then the color of the flame will be white, for example.
right, right,
Now, if I am not going to show that, it becomes just a text, and the child is just memorizing that. But if the teacher is demonstrating that, then what happens is that it becomes something which is to be cherished. The child will remember that for life.
it becomes crystal clear.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, do you think experiential learning also helps in building life skills and values apart from academic understanding?
Yes, yes. Experiential learning. Because see, unfortunately, the Indian system,
Hmm,
our children are dependent on the parents for a very long time. So in the British system or the European system, what is important is that the internships start as young, when the child is 14 or 15 years. They have
right,
summer internship programs. When we try to introduce something that in India, they will say that अरे अभी तो बच्चा छोटा है. They are hesitant for the children to go into a workplace and get the proper training.
right,
Whereas in the US and Europe, where the IB curriculum is very much in prevalence, and now in India also, you find that a lot of IB curriculum students are doing,
hmm,
the practical aspect of the learning comes in. So you need internships, you are going to companies and learn something. So, everything otherwise is going to be rosy. You have an uncle who's an engineer who tells you, okay, so much money is there in this, you to become
right.
this. And there is a career counselor who will say, join the merchant navy, okay, you will get so many lakhs. And children are getting enamored by the pay packet, but they don't know what are the pros and cons. So
After
it
all,
is
they are
very,
children, they're
yeah, after all,
kids,
the children, the mind is only focused on certain aspects.
right,
But if there is a holistic experience of an internship given to the student,
right.
okay, you go there and work there for 10 days, see for yourself whether you like it or not.
True, true.
I think that's when the child is able to learn a lot of things on their own, rather than it's equivalent to, 1 year of teaching theory. When they actually go and work in an outlet or in an organization or a factory, the kind of experience that they get is much more valuable than what they're going to read in textbooks.
True, true. If you had to give one piece of advice to students, teachers, and parents in the current educational landscape, what would it be? Just to, saturate, culminate the whole webisode.
I think the most important thing is to keep moving forward. It is never, teaching is not a profession where you can stagnate. Whether you are a student or for any profession for that matter, never stagnate in life. Many people think that, oh, I am just a teacher. I'm not getting the next post. I am not becoming a vice principal. I am not becoming a principal. That doesn't matter at all. The post is something different, but you as a person has to evolve, and that happens when you are learning more and more skills. If you are going to invest in yourself, which I had mentioned earlier, you have to invest in yourself. You have to read regularly. You have to take up courses regularly. I think the best teacher is someone who never stops learning. You keep learning, learning, learning. There is never a full stop. And then same for students. A student cannot say, "I am sick and tired of this now. Now I am not going to do any more studies." Our studies are till our death. So the most important thing is that we acquire this knowledge. And also another important aspect I would feel is that also we need to share our resources and knowledge with others. There was a very interesting article saying that, the graveyard is the richest resource in the whole world because many people died without sharing anything. So a lot of resource is just buried there without getting shared. So that is what happens. So all this knowledge that you are collecting, you also need to share with others. So they also get empowered. So the more you share, the more powerful and more empowered you become. So the one piece of advice, if I would say, is that invest in yourself. Don't stagnate, keep moving. There are ups and downs in lives, but that should not stop you from learning and acquiring new skills because the world is changing at such a fast pace that what you have learned now it may not be relevant tomorrow. So you cannot just sit down and say that, okay, I have done enough and more courses. Now I'm not going to learn
Absolutely.
further. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for this piece. I mean, the last part was the I would treasure that the most. So,
Thank
thank you so much, sir. So, that brings us to the end of today's episode. A big thanks to our guest of honor for making
thank
this
you.
webisode sound so engaging, so amazing. We are grateful to our guest of honor for enlightening us in this maze of knowledge.
Thank
So,
you so much. And the pleasure was all mine to have a good interaction with you. And
thank
I
you.
hope that whoever is listening to you also gets, enlightened and are able to contribute to the
True.
teaching as well as the learning process.
Thank you so much. You made it be helped. You are actually, your content helped, will be helping, and is helping a lot of teachers and students and parents who would be watching this and who are watching this. So, we'll
Thank
be
you.
back soon with more conversations that matter. Our conversation may end here, but the story of learning continues. That is what Sir has to say. So, keep turning the pages, and we'll meet again in the next chapter. Signing off from Philby's. Stay tuned. Thank you so much.